Now, Patty Stone is here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
From Junior Achievement, Ashtabula
Yes.
County. I want you to do this for me first. I always, since you're not on a lot of times, let's remind people, they should know this,
Okay.
and maybe many of their kids are even involved in these things, or grandkids.
Right.
When we say you're running and working with Junior Achievement, what is the purpose of that program and what is it?
Okay, great. Junior Achievement actually is celebrating, Junior Achievement USA celebrating its 100th year this year.
100 years.
Right,
Wow.
so year 2019 is 100
My goodness.
years. So we have a program where our goal is to help young people be prepared for their futures, take ownership of their own financial future.
Okay.
We have curriculum even from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade.
So teach them how to be prepared for life.
That's right. We were just in Conneaut, Lakeshore Elementary,
Okay.
and we have students learning about how to pay taxes or why we pay taxes.
Are you kidding me?
Second grade, yes.
Taxation starts early, baby, but you got to learn it, right?
That's right. And actually, the general consensus was they liked paying taxes.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Well,
Because they knew what it paid for.
because what were those taxes
Roads,
covered?
The roads that keeps them safe with the first responders.
Did
everything.
they learn about taxation and representation? That's in their history classes,
No,
probably.
good to ask. You know, it was Bob Lepselter was teaching that lesson. So I
Pardon me?
think. So
Robert
let me see.
Lepselter,
No, he was
wait a
doing
minute.
the voting lesson.
Now
Who
wait,
was doing the
we know
taxes?
Bob.
Yes.
He was been on this show many times. He used to do this show for a couple of months
Yeah.
before I came on board. So we know Bob.
That's you.
He
right.
just recently retired, I think.
Oh, I grabbed him up as soon as he retired as
How
a volunteer.
cool.
So part of what the
There's
unique
a lot of
thing-
volunteers that work in this,
Yes,
apparently.
that's what's unique about Junior Achievement is
Okay.
we have this wonderful curriculum that's aligned with the state standards.
And what grades do you start at, though?
They have
The lowest
curriculum.
end?
They have curriculum from kindergarten all the way to 12th
Are you
grade.
kidding me? It's JA,
That's
like,
JA.
I thought it was, I'm thinking
curriculum.
junior high years.
That's what we're focusing right now, but
Wow.
we want to expand it. So
Oh, I
we
gotcha.
had Huntington Bank came in. They wanted to sponsor a program, so we had some Huntington Bank volunteers and a couple Conneaut volunteers
Oh, wow.
because we taught all the second graders. So what we have is a program that can expand from second grade all the way to high school because there's people who make these lesson plans
Yeah.
that know the curriculum, know what a second grader knows, and knows how to teach a second
What
grader.
kind of folks, besides like Bob Lebzelter,
Mhm.
who might be some folks we know that works with JA?
Stephanie Gildone was
Oh,
also
my
there.
goodness,
I
she
told
just
you,
had a big party yesterday.
right? I'm hitting all the wonderful
We know
retired
Steph.
people. Yes. Oh gosh, I think I
Well,
brought
I'm just
a
curious in your
list.
mind
Yeah,
who
we
you
have
might know.
all of the county commissioners
Are
have
part of
volunteered.
JA.
They have volunteered.
Now, how often does somebody that goes into the schools, like in Conneaut or any of the schools that you work in,
Mhm.
how often are they in the schools, and is it a couple times in the year, a focus of one part of the year? Do they take over a classroom? Are they in a big gymnasium with hundreds of kids? How do they do this?
We do our standard program. The standard delivery
Yeah.
is a volunteer will go in, teach a 45-minute class,
Okay.
one day a week for 6
A
weeks.
class of students.
A class of
Okay.
students. They work with the teacher stays in the
Got
room
you.
and they work together. Every lesson, there's a component where, and this is what's unique about Junior Achievement, the community volunteer can talk about their career path, what position they're in right now,
Okay.
how they got there. And it's good for the students to be exposed to all of these different career paths, because we have people, of course, in banking, in government, social services, in the health industry. We have restaurant managers, we have a lot of people in manufacturing and industry, so they
And
will
so every
see,
kid in the class hears these folks talking.
right, because we're hoping as the program grows, they're going to have different volunteers,
Sure.
throughout their whole school year, or school career. So that's what's great, and it also connects the community with the students. It really gives them a chance to see where the young people are
Okay.
right now, and like I like to promote it by saying it really, in times of cynicism, this is the chance to feel hopeful because you're talking with these young people who have great ideas and
Well,
have
they're going to be our
hopes
future
to
leaders
making-
anyway.
That's right, making
So-
a difference for the world, and so right, and actually part of the goal, especially as the students get older, is to let the students realize there is a viable, very successful future here in the county. Here's
You know
all
what?
these positions.
We need to talk about that more often too, because
Right.
I mean, you're inevitably, I don't care where you live around the country, some kids move away and go do other things. But you don't want it to be because they couldn't stay here and there's nothing to do here. There are things here
Oh, yes.
that can keep you and have a family live.
Exactly.
Great standard of living in our area for sure.
Right.
And the costs are so much different than other places.
Yeah.
So, all right, in the early grades, a volunteer like a Bob Levzolt or a Stephanie or whomever, I
A
think,
Jim Kulko.
see what she's trying to do here. I think even Thomas and the commissioners, all these guys come in. All right, they will volunteer for this, and they come in and teach those classes to the young people. That's captive audience in the teacher's classroom, and I don't mean there's anything wrong with that. Does junior achievement, as the kids get older, is it ever they volunteer to get into it, or are kids all the way through junior high automatically in JA through the 8th grade, or whenever you end the program?
Right. What's
Or is
wonderful.
it volunteer ever with the kids side?
Eventually, it will be
Okay.
in a sense. Right now, junior achievement has.
Excuse me.
We're finishing out at Pymatuning Valley in 7th grade, but we
Okay.
will have every 7th and 8th grader in the entire county will have had a program.
So they all will have had
All
one,
will
and you're
have it.
over this whole county area,
Right, all 7 school districts.
Okay.
And so we have volunteers. That's why we have so many
Wow.
volunteers. Is we go to every 7th grade classroom, every 8th grade classroom right now, because that's what the districts had asked. We sort of showed them the curriculum and said, where do you want us to focus? So it's nice to have that continuum because the 7th graders get a program, and then 8th grade, as they go in, we can refer back to what they learned in 7th grade.
Now,
So
what are
it's
you
nice.
hearing on the junior high grade levels? Let's just say some of them would have been through some stuff in elementary. They come into the JA 7 and 8. I'm sure you're getting a little more adultish with them at those grades.
Yes.
Do you
So-
get feedback from kids or
Oh.
parents about the program?
Oh, we do. We do.
What
We
kind of things are you
sometimes.
hearing?
Oh, it's actually kind of funny, because the 8th grade program does economics for success.
Wow.
So they talk about budgeting, they talk about credit score, they talk about all kinds
Life issues.
Exactly. So sometimes you'll hear parents saying, yeah, my child came home and asked me about my credit score.
I didn't want to tell them that number, but they're learning about it.
They're learning
And what it
about
can do or not do for you down the road.
It all has to do with decision making.
Okay, I
so
got
they
you.
learn about. And in 7th grade, the program it's called It's Our Future. It's
Okay.
My Future.
Yeah, my
And,
future.
and the reason that that's important is because even seems early at to a 12, 13-year-old that we're starting to talk about this, but we talk about how you're creating your own personal brand at that time.
Okay.
How the way you act is going to how you present yourself, and we talk about how you the important proper use of social media, because how that can affect them down the road.
Well, I think in this day and age,
And
kids
they-
know a lot. Well, they know a lot about it, but maybe they're not using it in good ways.
Exactly.
Or might be tempted to go to a dark side or something.
Exactly. And careful, we say don't post anything you wouldn't want your parent or your teacher to see.
And thinking ahead down the road because it never goes away.
Exactly.
Or at least as far as we know, it doesn't seem to ever go away.
That's right. And so we also
That's
talk
really
about
cool.
it's good for them to think through this, because also we talk about in that class, that part of one
Yeah.
of the sessions is when you go about job hunting, because you can get a worker's permit at 14.
Yeah, true.
So we talk about you can't use your parents, you can't use your family and friends necessarily as work references. Who would be a
Who else
likely
could you
source?
use?
A coach,
Mhm.
a teacher. Are you on time for practices? Do you show up? Do you work hard?
There's a
Your
good thought.
teacher, do you turn in your assignments on time?
Oh, yeah,
Are you-
right.
So that's basically what you're doing right now is you're building your reference source. You're creating your brand. When somebody thinks of your name, what are they thinking of? Someone who comes in on time, somebody who's showing hard work and initiative. So they start thinking about these things, and it's better to catch them early at 7th grade.
Well, no, you know what?
Start
You gotta
thinking.
get those. They may not dwell on it all the time,
Exactly.
but you put the seeds in of there's a future you're building for yourself. In
Right
other
now.
words, as a kid, I was making my future. You were making yours. They're going to make theirs.
Yes.
And if they make good choices, hopefully that leads them to good things. When you make a
Exactly.
few bad ones, they can stick with you for a little while.
Yes. Right.
You know, I'm just saying, you
also-
got to think through what you're doing, showing, sending,
Yes.
and then do kids at the 7th and 8th, are some even sort of, do you find they're settled on thinking they even know what they might want to do at that level? Or is it a little early?
Some do. Some have
Like,
had
I know
an
I want to be
idea.
a blank.
Or at least the career cluster they're interested
Okay, yeah.
in. Like what they know they don't want to do. That kind of
Okay, and
thing.
that can
So-
still change.
Oh my goodness.
How many
and
freshmen change majors?
Grown-ups. Grown-ups like
Absolutely.
me. Yeah. So right. And
Well,
exactly.
they say in first round, tell me a little bit what the volunteer folks that do your classes mean to you as the director? Because you got to be over these people, but they're giving their free time to do
Oh,
it.
my goodness.
What do they mean to you?
They're
Or to the program?
They're the heart of the organization. I mean, without our volunteers, we couldn't do it. Because,
Okay.
like I said, that's what makes Junior Achievement unique, is because of the connection that the community has then with the students.
Yeah.
So they mean everything. So, from day one when they come in, they get training. I talk them through the lessons. They get everything they need. I think I have brought teacher kits in here before, so they
okay.
get the lesson plans. They get, if there's a game, they're the game pieces, everything that
Okay.
they need for all of the lessons are right there. Also, I think that the big part about Junior Achievement is the story needs to be told,
Okay.
and then more people
Get it out there.
will join.
Before break, are you still ever always in need of volunteers? Are you chock full?
Oh, no,
What's
no.
your need for volunteers?
It's wonderful. Right now, what we are looking for, and we've already gotten a great response, we have a high school program coming up,
Okay.
the JA Titan Business Challenge.
Titan Business Challenge.
Yeah, that's out at Kent State University on March 20th. Each school will send 3 teams. Each team has 3 students on it. And then they come in, they get paired up with a community volunteer who is their business mentor.
Okay.
So we could talk more about that. So that's a need for volunteers. And even when we don't do these 6-week programs, I've even made it so if sometimes a volunteer would rather just do 1 day.
Okay.
So they might, instead of coming in and teaching 1 lesson over a 6-week period, they might stay the whole day and teach 6 classes, the same lesson.
Okay.
So we've adjusted it however it's going to work best for them as well. And the plus side for the students is if we teach it that way, they're going to meet 6 different volunteers.
I get that. Yeah.
The nice part about when it is the same volunteer, then they have an extended connection with that
Right.
volunteer. So there's really,
It
it's a
works
win-win
either way.
both ways, right?
So we'll do this. How about if we give a contact best way for you before we break?
Okay.
Number, site, what do you want us to do?
Yes, wonderful. Go, always easiest if you can to email me at patty.stone@ja.org.
That's pretty easy.
Super
Patty.stone@ja.org. That's easy.
Yes, that's an easy one. You can also go to our website, which is just called, you just put ashtabulacounty.ja.org.
Oh, wow.
That's easy.
ashtabulacounty.ja.org.
Right, and then I would like, feel free to call myself, and I know I got in trouble
That's
last
up to
time.
you.
But that's the best way to reach me because I'm hardly ever like at an office, and
Okay.
usually when at the office phone, then it transfers to my email eventually, and
All
I
right.
check it that way. But it's 513. It's still my Southwest Ohio area code.
That's the area code, 513.
513-509-8151.
Perfect.
Yes.
Let's take a little break.
Great.
We'll come back. We're going to find out why this beautiful bag is on my
Yes.
desk here, because I know some of you are salivating over it as we watch the show right now. This could be somebody's bag when it's all said and done.
That's right.
We're going to find out about that and how it relates to junior achievement in just a minute. I think you wanted to hit that.
Yes,
What's
exactly.
happening?
Well, like I said, Junior Achievement has done 7th and 8th grade standardly for the last 3 years.
Okay.
We want to reach out to younger and older students, so we did, the one at Lakeshore with
Right.
the 2nd grade. Well, Conneaut is also going to be our pilot programs for 2 things.
Ooh.
One is called the JA Innovation Challenge, which is done with the middle school.
Innovation Challenge. That's a middle school. Okay.
Think Shark Tank, think that like.
Is
They're
Mark Cuban going to be here?
monkey
So
competition.
Conneaut's going to set the tempo for going forward with this.
Exactly.
Go Conneaut.
Trendsetters.
Go Spartans.
Trendsetters, yeah.